Shalom. Thank you all for joining us for Children of Light Bible Study. Let's begin with prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the breath in our bodies, for all that you do for us, for the children here, for the children being able to learn from a very young age your ways and to get to know you better. And we pray that they continue and we continue to grow our relationship with you so we can make it to the New Jerusalem. Amen. All right, we're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer in ancient Hebrew. We're going to say it together and nice and loud. All right? You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Let's say it together, okay? All right. Abba Nawa.
There you go. You can barely hear them on the
Yeah, you're going to talk louder. Let's start from the beginning and let's talk louder. Let's raise our voices, okay?
You yell to the house louder than that.
Yeah, no yelling, but let's just raise our voices so that way we're all together and we can be heard, okay? Let's do this right, all right? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, the Lord's Prayer in English. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
All right, let's go ahead and do the credo. And where's the credo found?
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4.
All right, let's say it all together.
Maya Sarala Haya the Lord our God is one Lord. Maya Sarala Haya Hello Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Maya Sarala Haya Hello Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
All right, so now we're going to do the 10 Commandments, the Royal 10 Commandments. And what book and what chapter can we find that in? You got to talk about it next time, yes. Yes, Exodus chapter 20. All right, what's the first commandment? Remember, we're not singing it, we're saying it how we see it in Exodus chapter 20. You got to talk louder.
Thou shalt not have no other gods before me.
Good. commandment? Let's talk about it.
Thou shalt not have any graven images.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. All right. Thou shalt not make unto thee
Thou shalt not make unto thee
any graven images.
any graven images.
All right. What's the third commandment?
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Good. Everyone else? Let's say it together. Thou shalt not take.
The Lord thy God in vain.
All right. What's the fourth commandment?
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Good. What's the fifth commandment? Good. All right. And what is the fifth commandment? What's the fifth commandment?
The money they find in the days shall be long.
That thy days shall be long upon the land. All right. What's the next commandment?
Thou shalt not kill.
What's the seventh commandment?
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
What's the eighth commandment?
Thou shalt not steal.
What's the ninth commandment?
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
What's the tenth commandment?
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
What's the fifth commandment again?
Thou shalt not
Upon the land. All right. So,
Listen, Elias was 2 years old. He said, it was a bug in the bathroom. And I said, is your dad killing? He said, no, that should not kill. I was all crazy. I was listening to that. Yeah, the bug. Yeah, you told me thou should not kill. So, I don't know. That's what people look. Right.
all right. So next we have something that we always talk about, and it's 9 of them. What are they called? Yes. And what book and chapter and verse can we find them?
Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 to 23.
All right. Let's go ahead and name them. All 9 of them.
Love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. Against themselves there is no law.
So now we're going to do the alphabet in ancient Hebrew.
Yay.
All right. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and sing it.
Abada Hawa Zakataya Kalamanda Zakarasada Abada Hawa Zakataya Kalamanda Zakarasada
Everyone.
Abada Hawa Zakataya
All right, good. Next, we have, who knows? Yeah, the numbers in ancient Hebrew. We're going to say them 1 all the way to 20. We're going to say them together, okay? All right, let's start.
1 Akkad, 2 Sinai, 3 Shalata, 4 Abrata Iha, 5 Kamasa, 6 Shasha, 7 Shabbat, 8 Shamalana, 9 Asa Iha, 10 Ashar, 11 Akkad Ashar, 12 Sinai Ashar, 13 Shamasha Ashar, 14 Shabbat Ashar, 15 Masha Ashar, 16 Shasha Ashar, 17 Shabbat Ashar, 18 Shamana Ashar, 19 Ashar, 20 Asharayam.
All right, good job. start at the back and work our way up. Aliyah, how old are you? Are you 2?
So are you too?
Nasa, how old are you, Nasa? Are you 1? So everyone, what's 1 in ancient Hebrew? What's 2 in ancient Hebrew? All right. Araya, how old are you?
How old are you?
Everyone, what's 3 in ancient Hebrew? Micah, how old are you? What's 5 in Hebrew, everyone? Madawana. That's it, right? All right. What's in Hebrew? How old are you? Everyone, what's 7 in ancient Hebrew? What's 7 in Hebrew? Good. To Zayuan. How old are you? Everyone, what's 4 in ancient Hebrew? Banab. How old are you? What's 5 in ancient Hebrew? Everyone? Kamasha. And Elisa, how old are you? What's that in ancient Hebrew, everyone? Shabbat Iha. Kaya, how old are you? She's 2. Everyone, what's 2 in ancient Hebrew? What's 2 in ancient Hebrew? Shania. Good. Devay, how old are you? How old are you, Devay? Tell me how old you are. Okay, let's stop guessing. You're not 8, you're 9, you're not 10. You were 4 a couple months ago, and then you turned 5. So how old are you? Okay, everyone, how do you say 5 in ancient Hebrew? Thank you. Not 8. Keziah, how old are you? How do you say 5 in ancient Hebrew? Everyone? Good, Kamasha. All right, now we're going to go to our colors. So, what is blue? What is What's red? What's green? What's orange? And what's yellow? Okay. Good. So, what color is that? The Bible. What color is that? How do you say it in Hebrew? What color are the borders around your fringes? How do you say it in ancient Hebrew? Who remembers the first 15 books of the Bible? Do you guys want to say them together?
Yeah.
All right, let's say them together.
Genesis, Job, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Samuel,
Joshua, Judges,
First Samuel, Second Samuel, First Chronicles, Second Chronicles, Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon.
Good job. That's the first 15. Okay. So, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes,
Second Kings, Ruth, Joel, Jonah, Amos, Hosea, Isaiah, Micah, Nahum, Zephaniah, Habakkuk, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Daniel, Ezekiel, Ezra chapter 1 through 6, Obadiah, Haggai, Zechariah, Ezra chapter 7 through 10, Esther, Nehemiah, Malachi.
All right.
Many Jesus' names.
Good job. All right. So today we're going to be in Ecclesiastes. If everyone go ahead and open up your Bibles and we're going to turn to Ecclesiastes. And once you guys find it, go ahead and raise your hand. All right, everyone's there?
Yes.
All right. So, Ecclesiastes. This was written by Solomon, King Solomon. Do you remember who his father was? King David. Mm-hmm. You remember what tribe King Solomon was from? How do you say that in Hebrew? Yep. Yahweh. Good. Now, this book was written between 940 to 935 BC. So, before we actually get started, let's talk about the 12 tribes of Israel. We already named one with King Solomon and King David as Judah. Who can name another tribe? Yes? Benjamin, Binyamin, okay. Can you name one? Mm-hmm. Good. Keziah, can you name one? Mm-hmm. Can you say it in Hebrew? Good. You want to name one, Kaya? We can get everybody to say. I'll come back to you. But now? Can you name one? Huh? Yahweh? Can you think of another one? Yishashakar. And what is that in English? It's Issachar. So Issachar is Yishashakar. Maris, can you name one? The Pathalai. Okay, what is it in English? Naphtali. Mikey, can you name one?
You just said it.
You said Benjamin?
You said Levi.
Levi? What's it in ancient Hebrew?
You just said it when you were called on.
The way?
Why?
I'm
You
sorry.
just said it when you were called on.
Araya, you want to name a 12 tribe? Zion, you want to name a 12 tribe? All right, name a tribe. Listen to what your mom said. Gad? What's Gad in ancient Hebrew? Good. All right, you want it to go again, Elisa? All right, can you name another one? Reuben for Alvin. Anybody else want to name another one? Yes? Simeon? Oh, there you go, Kaya. All right, Shakaya one. All right. Anybody else? You want to name one? Mm-mm. Name one. You said Manasseh already.
You said Manasseh, you said Ash.
Who? Asher, Ashar. I heard somebody say Ephraim. What's that in ancient Hebrew? Aparayam. Did you say Benjamin? Benjamin. That's all of them.
Yeah, that's all.
Yep, we said Asher, Ashar.
Yeah,
Yep,
you all
we got
said
them all.
all.
Good job. And remember, King David and King Solomon were from the tribe of Judah. Yes, Yahweh. Now, the word Ecclesiastes is actually Greek, and it means teacher. So there's that. And with the book of Ecclesiastes, it was actually written in the later part of King Solomon's reign. So remember, last week, what did we read last week? Now, Proverbs, Song of Solomon. And that was the beginning part of King Solomon's reign. Now, Ecclesiastes, this is the later part. So he's been reigning for some time now, and he saw a lot of things, and he did some things. So some of the things that he did weren't the greatest. So he married other women that weren't from the 12 tribes of Israel. He also started worshiping idols. And what commandment talks about not worshiping idols? The second commandment, which says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images." Yes. But he repented, and we're going to learn more about that next week. But so also with Ecclesiastes, you'll see in the book throughout, he says the preacher. He's actually calling himself the preacher. All right. Now, before we go ahead and get right into the book of Ecclesiastes, it's going to be some words that you guys are going to hear throughout the book of Ecclesiastes, and we're going to figure out what they mean, okay? The first one is vanity. Does anyone know what vanity is? Pride? Yes. So, can someone give me an example of what they think pride is?
One of other people's things, like the commandment.
No, not coveting. Anything else? Huh? Huh? The lion pride?
Lion pride.
Yeah, but not that kind of pride. So with this pride, maybe you think you're the smartest in the room. Maybe you think you know everything and nobody can teach you nothing. That's pride. And is pride good or bad? Another one is vexation. Yes, that one is like if something annoys you or bothers you. So let's say I just start poking the baby, and I just keep poking her and poking her and
Yeah,
poking her.
poker.
Yeah, we poke you.
Poker, yeah.
Does that bother you? It don't bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you if I keep doing that to you?
Take her cookies and let her cupcakes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Okay. Stop doing it to you. Stop doing this. Okay. If I keep pulling your hair, so and I keep pulling it and pulling it, is that gonna bother you? If I take all your beads out your head, is that gonna bother you? No, it's not gonna bother you. Oh, I got the wrong person. Oriah, if I take all your foreheads out your head and your beads, does that bother you? Come here so I can take them out your head. Huh? It's vexing you right now just thinking about it, huh? So that's vexation. She's like, you ain't touching my head. The next one is folly. Folly means foolishness. Mm-hmm. What does folly mean? Yep. The next one is a vexation of spirit. So maybe something that troubles your spirit. Maybe you see something when you're out with your parents, and maybe you see somebody breaking a commandment, and you know it's wrong, and maybe you see their parents, and their parents aren't telling them anything about it. What if you saw someone, maybe two siblings, they're in the store, and they're punching and fighting each other, they're stealing, they're lying, and the parent sees it, and the parent doesn't say anything. What would you say to your parents? Look at them. Yeah, what are they doing? Look what they're doing. Why isn't the parent telling them something? Will that bother you guys? No.
A.
No. So that's vexation of spirit. Now we're going to go ahead and turn to chapter 1 in Ecclesiastes. Everyone turn to chapter 1 in Ecclesiastes. Everyone should already really be there. Yeah. All right. Now, before we get deep into the lesson, I have a quick did you know fact, and I think it's pretty exciting. So we're going to read chapter 1, and we're going to read verse 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
Who has ever seen a river? All right. Who has seen an ocean? So have you guys, who's been to the beach? Seen maybe a beach? You guys, okay. All right. So, let's bring it back. So at the beach, you guys see the waves. They're always rolling up, right? And then they do what? They roll what? They roll back. Has anyone ever wondered why the waves don't keep rolling forward and they don't flood the whole beach? You thought that too? You know why? You sure you made it that way? Mhm. Huh? Yeshua gave a command to the waters, and the waters obeyed him. He told the when the waves come, they keep coming. They'll go. Stop. They come onto the sand a little bit, and then they roll right back. They never keep going and going and going and going.
So even the water is obedient to Yeshua.
The winds and waves obey. Interesting. Did you know that? Now you do. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that amazing? I thought it was too. All right. So now, also in chapter 1, he also talks about in verse 9 and 10 that there's nothing new under the sun. And what that means is sin has been around since before we were born and is going to continue to be around. There's nothing new. History repeats itself. The same things people were doing thousands of years ago, they're doing it today. So there's nothing new under the sun. The way you guys wear your hair, it was done a long time ago. It may not have been that particular bow or ribbon or bead, but they did it back then too. So there's nothing new. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to skip around in chapter 1 and we're going to read verses 12 through 18. And before we get started, who remembers what King Solomon asked for? Yes, wisdom. And did he get that wisdom? Yes. And with that wisdom, he learned a lot of things. He learned about life. He learned just a lot of things that maybe he wouldn't have learned as much if he didn't have that wisdom. And he started to see some things. So we're going to start off with verse 12 and verse 13. So everyone, we're still in chapter 1. We're going to read verses 12 to 13.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 12. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. And I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith.
Who remembers earlier when I said, who's the preacher? Ecclesiastes means teacher in Greek, but who is also called the preacher? Solomon. King Solomon. Mm-hmm.
King Solomon was called what? Say it louder.
Yeah. And as we saw in verse 13, he said he gave his heart to seek and search out wisdom. So he searched out and he found out a lot of things. We're going to skip down to verse 17 and 18.
Verse 17. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
All right, so a couple of things here. Who remembers what we said was vexation of spirit? So we use that example. The vexation of spirit is something that troubles your spirit, something that troubles you.
So what's vexation of spirit?
Yes. Something that troubles you. Hmm? I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you either. Your veins? Vanity? You mean vein? It's a vein? Vanity? Yeah. All right, who remembers what folly is? What's folly today? Folly.
Folly is
I heard somebody say it. Is that a riot said it?
no, that's vexation of spirit.
Somebody said it. You did? Say it again then. Foolishness. Foolishness, yes. And then we see in verse 18, it says that with all the wisdom he had grief. And the more he increased the knowledge, there was sorrow. So why do you guys think he had all this wisdom and he still felt grief and he still felt sorrow? Why do you guys think that? Maybe he did something bad. He was righteous. Okay. Anybody else want to give it a try? No. So I was asking them, why do they think that it was much grief when he increased that knowledge? Why was it sorrow? Yeah. So when you guys have more knowledge and more wisdom, do you think Yeshaya expects more from you guys?
Yes.
Do you think he has a higher expectation?
Absolutely. Yes,
So-
he does. I'm shaking the head no.
Shaking their head no. Oh. So when you know better, you should do better, huh? All right. So back to the example with the children in the store. You see that they're doing wrong. Do you join in with that folly? Because what? And what else besides getting you in trouble? Besides that, what else is going to do?
You should.
There you go, Banana. Because thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie. Honor thy father and thy mother, because you know the commandments, so Yeshua expects you to do better.
You should know better than to join in with other bad things.
So you know that, so Yeshua expects you to do better. All right? I heard you said too, yes. Yes, but first you got the commandments. That's what we're speaking about. All right? So now we're going to go ahead and move over, because we now know Yeshua has higher expectations for us. Let's go ahead and look at chapter 2. And in chapter 2, we're going to skip around a little bit. Solomon talks about how he did as his heart pleased. So whatever his heart desired, he did it. And he realized that was vanity. He was pleasing himself instead of pleasing Yeshua. Does that sound like something good?
No. Ain't just trying not to sound. Make sure you're listening.
Yeah, because if you're pleasing yourself, you're pleasing your flesh. And then you're not operating in the fruit of the Spirit, are you? Yeah. So we're going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 2. We're going to read verses 4 through 5.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 4. I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit.
So this is just some of the things that King Solomon is talking about that he did. Now we're going to skip down to verse 9, and we're going to read verses 9 to 11.
Verse 9. So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remains with me, and whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy. For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, it was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun.
All right? So before we get into our definitions again, if you are pleasing yourself and you're not pleasing Yeshua, we already talked about that's bad, right? So if you're not doing anything to please Yeshua, you're not doing anything for the kingdom, do you think you'll make it to the New Jerusalem?
No.
So what you're doing now, you have to all make sure that it's profitable, that it helps us ensure that we get to the New Jerusalem. Okay? Now, we see a couple words in here that we talked about earlier. What's vanity? Hmm?
No. Starts with a P. Vanity is.
There you go. And what's vexation of spirit again? Something that.
Trouble with food.
There you go. Good. Yeah. All right. So Solomon started realizing some things. Remember, this was the later part when he was king. So he started realizing some things with that wisdom that he had. Okay. Now the next chapter we're going to talk about is chapter 3. And in this chapter, Solomon talks about time. There's a time for everything. There's a season for everything. So we're going to read a few of them and then we're going to quickly talk about it. So we're going to read in chapter 3, verses 1 through 4.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, and a time to break down, and a time to build up, and a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance.
All right, so that's just a few. So there's a time for every one of us. Yeshua has a time when he plans to maybe increase your knowledge. Because right now, we don't know everything. We're not going to know everything until the New Jerusalem. But as we're here on this earth and we're growing in Yeshua, we will get more wisdom. We will. But as of right now, we don't know everything. There's a time for that. There's going to be a time when Yeshua gives you more. There's going to be a time when Yeshua might have you in a current state. And when I say that, let's say something simple, like your height. Right now, it might be the time for you to be that height that you're on right now, right? He might say you're what? 3, 9, 3, 10, oh, and then one day he's going to say, then when that time is complete, Yeshua will say, but now he's going to be 5'10" one day. He's going to be 5'11", 6 feet. You know?
6 feet.
There's a time for everything. The scripture says right here, there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And that's in Yeshua's time. Okay? So whose time is everything in?
No.
Do we rush Yeshua?
No.
So what must we do while we wait for Yeshua? Be patient. Be patient and then through the Spirit. And be happy in the state that you're in. No matter what it is, because it's in Yeshaya's time and Yeshaya is in control. Are we in control?
Yes.
Are we in control? Mm-mm. Who's in control? Yeshaya is in control. Okay? So we're going to read verse 11. I just said it. We're going to read chapter 3 and read verse 11.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the works that God maketh from the beginning to the end.
So we just talked about it. So everything is beautiful in his time, in Yeshaya's time. So we must remember that. And Solomon learned that. That's something very crucial in our walk with Yeshaya. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move over to chapter 5. Now, chapter 5 talks about fools. Does anybody here want to be a fool?
No.
Because it's folly. What is folly? Yes, foolishness. Yes, foolishness. So we're going to read chapter 5, and we're going to read verse 2. So Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few.
Raise your hand if you've ever blurted out whatever came to your mind. You've ever done that? I have. All right. So I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Let's say your mom tells you you're doing a math problem, right? And your mom tries to help you because you see you struggling with it. Maybe she want to help you out. And before she can tell you the answer, she's like, "But now the answer, I know." That's what you say. Instead of thinking, maybe my mom's trying to help me, you say, "I know." Or you have, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
He said he needed help.
Oh, you can let them help? Okay. So what if there's toys all over the floor? And you see the toys. Your mother sees the toys. Your father sees the toys. And before they can tell you to pick up the toys, they're like, maybe, and Elisa, you need to, I know, pick up the toys. I know it already. What about that? Or Neve, maybe you are getting ready to get in the shower, right? And I'm telling, before I can tell you to get your towels and your night clothes, you're like, I know, I got it. That's one side of things. What about the other side where maybe you see someone and you just blurt out loud, maybe they got the answer wrong, and you blurt out in your head, they stupid, but then you say it out loud. You think in your head, oh, they stupid, and then you say it out loud. He's stupid, she's dumb. Is that nice? Should you be blurting stuff out like that or thinking stuff like that? So let me ask again, has anyone ever blurted something out without thinking? Still no? Okay. Yeah, a few more hands. Has anyone ever told their parents, I know it already, I got it?
Or has your parents ever told you stay in a child's place? That means that you was blurting something out. You were speaking when you were not supposed to.
Anybody? Has anyone ever been told that? Okay, more hands. So, so that's what he's saying in chapter 2. Be not rash with thy mouth. Don't be quick to say things. So we have to remember that also, okay? And always remember, it's better to hear. It's better to shamai, which means to listen, than it is to just be blurting stuff out, just to be talking, just to be speaking. Because Yeshai is listening, and also the devil's listening. See if he can get you. So we got to be mindful. The next thing we're going to look at There's some other stuff about foolishness. We're going to go over to chapter 7 in Ecclesiastes, and we're going to read chapter 17. Sorry, verse 17. Chapter 7, verse 17.
Are we all there? Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 17. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?
Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
So, in Ecclesiastes, it's talking about being wicked. And then it's also telling us also not to be foolish. So these two things, if you're wicked or even if you're foolish, you're going to die before your time. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
I'm glad you knew that.
That's why I always tell you, stop being foolish. You're going to go to hell. You're going to die. I tell you that all the time. Stop being foolish.
So it's right here in the scriptures. It's saying, why die before your time? Yeshua wants you to live a long, good life, but if you're being wicked or if you're being foolish, that's going to be cut in half. More than half if it's up to Yeshua, but your life is not going to be as long as he wants it to be. Foolishness is never of Yeshua. Foolishness is of who? Satan. Mhm. All right. And let's look at verse 9 also. Sorry about that. Let's look at chapter 7, verse 9. We're just going to go up a little bit.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools.
Anyone was ever so quick to get angry? Nobody? Two people?
Somebody take your toy and you get mad?
I'll go a step further. Maybe you're playing with your toys. Maybe you're building with some blocks. And then the blocks aren't connecting the way you want them to. Or maybe you're playing with a race car, and the race car, the wheel is bad, so it's not going straight like you want it to. And you get mad and you slam it, you throw it. Has anyone ever did that with their toys? They slammed or threw their toys with Are you paying attention? She's trying to listen also. You need to listen. Because you've done this before. So you need to listen. Okay? That's your mind. So do you think that was hasty to be angry? And the scripture says if we're hasty to be angry, what are we considered? Does anybody here want to be a fool?
No.
All right. So we all in agreement that we don't want to be fools. We don't want to just speak things that just come out of our mouth. Okay? All right. Good. Now, we're going to go ahead and just skip right over to chapter 8. And we're going to read verse 13. Who remembers another word for foolishness? It's called what?
It starts with an F.
All right, so everyone is in chapter 8?
Yes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 13. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God.
Who remembers what fear means? The fear of the Lord. Fear means to... Get in there.
It starts with an R.
Yes, right. Everyone say respect.
Respect.
Mhm. What are some ways that you can show Yeshua that you respect him? Obeying his commandments. What are some of his commandments? Oh, honor your father and your mother. Okay. Upon the land. And what commandment talks about that? That's a louder. The ninth commandment. Mhm. So if someone, hmm? Thou shalt not kill. Mhm. So if someone is walking around killing, lying, disrespecting their parents, saying words that should not come out of their mouth to their parents, do they fear Yeshua? Do they even respect their parents?
No. They're going to teach the Lord.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Nope, it's not.
All right.
You don't know the family you shall not love.
That's true. Yep. So who tries to get us not to listen to our parents? And the demons. So if a demon tells you to go smack your sister, should you do it?
Wait, what are you saying? Why are you looking at each other like that? Well, she don't do like your sister.
No.
Why are you looking at him like that?
She was like, you can try it.
Okay. What if the demons try to tell you, you know everything, you don't need to listen to them. You know everything, so you're the smartest in the room. So what they're saying, don't worry about it. You already know all of this. You don't have to listen to it. What is that?
What
Do
do
you
you
guys
got?
agree?
When the demon tells you you know everything, you're the smartest in the room, what is that? Say it louder.
Pride.
Pride.
Pride. Yeah, pride. When you act like you know it all, and that you know everything, that's pride.
Will we ever know anything in our flesh body? When? No, everything. When will we know everything? Say it louder. Once we go to the new Jerusalem.
We won't just automatically know everything. Because remember, the scripture says that we're going to go up once a month. Oh. Let them know that. They understand that. So when we get to the New Jerusalem, we're not going to know everything, but we're going to know a lot more than what we know now. But then Yeshua is going to be our teacher. So we're going to go up once a month and sit like y'all sitting, like we gather together now. And Yeshua is going to teach us more stuff. Who wants that to happen?
I do.
I do.
You want it to happen? Yes.
Yeah. All questions will be answered. But it's not just instantly. Why would we have to meet with Yeshua once a month if everything was going to be known instantly?
Oh my goodness.
He said he just want to know who killed Tupac.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move over to chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 13 to 14. So Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14.
Raise your hand once you get there. 2, 3, 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
That's right.
So, the whole duty of man, right? What do you guys think as children is your duty? Besides, raise your hand if everyone obeyed their father and mother this week. Every single day. So now you know what to.
Got
It's
work
your
to
duty.
do, children. That's your job, to obey your father and mother. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm talking to the grown people here too. It doesn't matter how old you are. You all are still to obey your father and mother.
And it also talks about every secret thing, whether it be good or evil. Yeshaya knows. Yeshaya sees when we do it. So why not maybe do something in good? Maybe you helped your mom with the dishes and she didn't even know it. She didn't even see. She just saw the dishes was on. And maybe she go, Amaris, I'm sorry, Madalana, did you do the dishes? And you say, yeah, Mom, I saw they need to be done, so I did them for you. Because I know where everything goes. You think that'll make Yeshaya happy?
No.
That would make Yeshaya.
Yes.
If you do the dishes for your mom.
Yes.
If you're helping your parents, will Yeshaya be happy?
Yes.
Will your parents be happy?
Yes.
She just don't want to do no dishes. That's
So that is our lesson for Ecclesiastes. Next week we're gonna do First Kings. We're gonna pick back where we left off. I know it's been a while, so we're gonna look at that, and then we're gonna pick the rest of the books of the Bible. So thank you all for. Thank you all for joining us for Children of Light Bible study. Please join us for our main spot lesson, which will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kwam Yashala.